Hello wonderful people, and welcome back to the channel of Eating Sprouts. My name is Bliss van Amsterdam, and today I'm going to show you how to dehydrate fruit. And of course you can do the same thing for vegetables and other things, but today we're going to concentrate on my favorite one, which is pineapple. Dehydrated pineapple is delicious and very easy to make, and I'll show you how to do it in this Presto Dehydrator, which is right now my favorite for the price and the quality and the size. And just before we got into the details of how to prepare the pineapple for dehydration, I wanted to take a moment and talk to you about why I recommend dehydrating your food, fruits, vegetables and others instead of cooking them. Because when you cook them, unfortunately, the heat literally kills most of the nutritional content of the food that we cook, and that is a shame. Of course, there's always something left, which is still very good for us, but for the most part, it's actually lost. When we dehydrate, the nutritional content of the food, the fruits, the vegetable, whatever we put in it, remains intact, and that's a big deal. And of course, dehydrated, they last longer as well. So they're easier to store and to keep for longer periods of time. And for that, I recommend, like I said, this dehydrator, and the brand is Presto. This is the basic model, which is the one I recommend, again, for the quality and the size, and for the price is definitely a very good purchase. I know that this brand has at least another 2 models that are a little bit more sophisticated. You can control the time, you can control the power of dehydration, and that's fine. But basically, this basic model just turns on and off as you plug them or unplug it, and it's very big. It's big enough to hold a lot of food in it, yet when you store it, it's only this big. This big is how you can store it, and basically, once you want to use it, then you take the trays and you turn them around, and it's going to look like this. And like this, as you can see, when we turn around the trays, we have the space that we need to put the fruits or the vegetable in and dehydrate them like that. And once that's said, basically, I wanted to add that this dehydrator comes with these plates that are sold separately, but I recommend them a lot. Because even though we're not going to use them now to dehydrate the pineapple, they are very useful for a number of other items that can very well include pineapple, like cookies and things like that. So I recommend you include them in your purchase for those kinds of items, like the vegan banana cookies that I made in the other video, in which I absolutely used these 2 trays, okay? But in this case, like I said, for fruit like this, like pineapple, we're not going to use it. We're just going to cut the pineapple and put it just like that on the plastic grill of the dehydrator, and just like that we're going to dehydrate, okay? So let's get started with the process of preparing the pineapple for dehydration. Okay, and here we are with the pineapple, which I already washed, because I want to make tepache with the peel and the rind of it. And the first thing I want to do is to cut the crown off, because I'm going to sprout it. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in a jar of water, just like that, and let it grow just like that. And that's how you sprout it and you grow pineapple in your garden. And now next, I'm going to peel the pineapple this way, because like I said, I want to make some tepache. And tepache is basically a fermented drink made from the peel and the rind of the pineapple, which is the reason why we washed the pineapple before cutting in the first place. And it's a very simple process, just like that. Just cut the peel out, and we're going to keep it. Now we want to take the big pieces and basically just save them. So we want to be sure everything that is in the outer shell, we definitely want to cut it like this. I think it's fine. And we want to keep these pieces apart that we're going to put in water and then ferment, which perhaps we can do in another video. But for now, we're going to focus here, and we're going to cut the lower part as well, just like that. It all goes into the tepache. So once we have that, you can see these little holes we have there. We definitely want to cut them. So get a smaller knife, just like that, and one by one cut them. That is a very important process. It takes a minute or 2, but it'll make a big difference when you eat them. So just take your time and go one by one with a smaller knife and cut them off, like I'm doing here, which is a process which can be a little bit time consuming, but it's an important part of the process, going one by one and cutting them off. Or like I'm doing here at this moment, you can cut more than one at once. It's really not that hard. You just have to go with your small knife or smaller knife
and your finger, and make sure that you cut every one of those pieces off, because you don't want to skip this process. You definitely don't want to skip this process, because it could spoil the experience once you have the final product dehydrated, ready to eat. Okay, so cut them off. It's really not that hard, and the more you do it, you get used to it. And of course, save the pieces for the tepache as well. And as you see here, this is exactly how the pineapple is supposed to look, ready to be cut, and it looks nice and beautiful. So perfect. Now we go back to the big knife, and now we're going to cut them. We're going to cut them not too thick, not too thin, as I'm doing here, because of course, as you dehydrate them, they will shrink in size. Okay, so like I said, you can do the size, could be like about 1/3 of an inch, should be just fine, like I'm doing here. It doesn't matter if at the bottom of the pineapple it's a little bit thicker, that's okay too. But yes, just be sure to do it like that. And now it's ready to be put in the dehydrator, which is here. And basically we're going to start using the lower tray. As you see here, just put the pieces on the grill of the tray. That's fine, just like that. They fit just well, and in this case it's not fitting, it's a little too big. That's fine, we can cut it in half or 2 halves as well, no problem. Just like that, that's perfect, it'll fit just fine. We just keep cutting them like that. Usually in the middle of the pineapple, the pieces are a little bit fatter, and that's normal. So once we fill one tray like this, we go to the second tray, and look how they fit. You see, it fits really well. So just follow the size of the tray below as a guide to know how to position it. Okay, and just keep filling the tray, okay, with halves or whatever you can fit in there. In this case, looks really nice. So let's do the third tray now, and in this third tray, as you can see, this has the marker right here, so this will help you know which way goes up and down. As you see, it's smaller, and then it goes a little bit bigger. It just fits in there. Just follow the pattern of the tray below, and in this case they fit there. We're going to do 3, we're going to be able to do 4 full size. That's perfect, just like that, it's fine. Let's do the last tray, and you see how they fit really well. So like I said, just follow the tray below, and we're gonna cut this one just because they're easy that way. Of course, we're gonna have plenty of room here in the upper tray. That's fine. So we close it, and now it's ready to be put to work.
Okay, just like that, we have now the pineapple ready for dehydration in the machine. All we have to do is turn on the machine by plugging it, because it doesn't have any on or off button, but it has an indicator in the front that will show us when it's plugged in. So let's see if it's working. Here's the plug, electricity. Yeah, it's working perfectly well, and just like that, we're gonna let it dehydrate somewhere between 6 to 8 hours, and depending on how we like it, we might let it go for another extra couple of hours. Okay, it's been close to 8 hours now. It's been dehydrated, and I think they're ready. Let's see. You can take one and try it. You're really perfect. Actually, they're ready to be taken out. So all I'm going to do here, I'm going to unplug it, and now we're going to take it out of the tray to store it or to simply eat it.
And here we are in the last part of the process, in which we'll basically take each one of the pieces of dehydrated pineapple from the grill or the trays. And as you can see, the pieces of pineapple, they're dehydrated, but they're still manageable. I mean, they're not fully dehydrated, because I personally like them like that. It's a matter of preference, of course. And we're just gonna go one by one and grab all the different pieces from the trays, as I'm doing here. That's perfect, and just like that we can keep them. And of course, now we put the trays back on it, just like that, which is a very easy process, or we can put it the other way around to store it. Either way is just fine.
Alright, well, so that's how you dehydrate fruits and vegetables, basically using the same technique, just preparing them, cutting them, putting the dehydrator, and just letting them dry. Of course, the time may vary from fruit to vegetable. In this case, there's pineapple. It lasts somewhere between 6 to 9 hours. I like it closer to 8 hours, where it's like this, that it's still manageable and soft enough, but yet dehydrated and crunchy enough, ironically. And but of course, it can take longer. Other fruits may take longer or less, and same with the vegetables. But it's only a matter of practicing. It's a very simple process that will give us a very tasty, sweet, natural sweet that may replace artificial sweetener. So this is something we can leave at home, and you can store it outside of the refrigerator, of course. And that's why I wanted to share this simple yet very useful technique of how to dehydrate. And I wanted to make one more video showing you this dehydrator because it was my first dehydrator and I used it for years and I've learned so much from it. And it's the basic model and it works really well and I have to share it. In the future I will be using perhaps more sophisticated dehydrators that have other benefits that you can work more quantity. And for the beginners, for the people who want to learn and just try and get familiarized with dehydrating food and vegetables, this is my favorite one and I absolutely have to make a second video talking about this dehydrator because I like it that much. So once that's said, this is the Presto Dehydrator which I've been using for years, and this is how you dehydrate these fruits. And well, if you like this video, of course, please give us a like to let us know that you like it and that you're enjoying this. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, then remember to subscribe to this channel so you can get more information like this. And wherever in the world you are, on the other side of the screen, we thank you for being here with us. And remember, be what you eat. Enjoy.